Here is where I get to set my spirit free. Here is where I find my naturality. Where are we going?
This is something that I do. Nobody knows it, but like right now I'm staring at myself, which is weird. I do this on FaceTime too. Because I've had this self journey about telling myself that I'm beautiful and that I have value and I have worth. And so whenever I turn my camera on, I make sure that I look at myself and I tell myself, you are beautiful, you are this, you are that, you are worthy. And then I also will send a compliment to somebody else who has their camera on. So I'm going to do it now to everybody. You all look great. And I think that that is a way for us to interact and also work on ourselves and be more comfortable with ourselves, because we don't have that face-to-face interaction, but I think it gives you a little something, you know?
I think Shabumi just gave you a finger snap on the side here. That is amazing. I don't know how powerful you realized that was. I don't know if you even heard it. You had a little crinkle in your throat when you were saying it, because that something about self-image and self-worth, I think, is something that you all can always hold on and always develop, and no one can take that away from you. So despite how things are going, you always have this way of pivoting this existence in the social distancing by putting, like, what am I worth? Who am I? Like, what am I bringing to the table? And I think that's so powerful. I'm glad we're asking these questions from the young folks, so to speak, because we're looking for you all for inspiration and innovation in regards to how do we get through this. And so, just on that note, anybody else want to kind of share what Ellen had just asked?
So for me, so like before, like if I say like pre-corona, let me say that, like I didn't really put like much effort with like how I would dress sometimes, but even if I'm just going to go grab like tea, I just dress and I will see people and they'll be like, "Why are you going to nowhere?" Because nowhere. I'm gonna go grab tea and come back. That's really it. So like I think you should like, I even like change like my scents. Let's say my body creams. I just maybe I wear like a particular necklace like for a while. Like I'm kind of like trying to give myself some sort of an identity. It could be like changing your style. I kind of did that. Like you could dress up more. You could maybe have funky hairstyles, even though you have the mask. And though people don't know who you are, yeah, because like, who is this girl? I'm always saying this girl wearing something, or she always has a particular scent, or she always wears something. That's what I do. And I spend to be like, wow, why are you dressing? I'm not dressing now though, but why are you dressing? Like, and it's like, I don't know. I'm just dressing because if like I don't just do that. Like, why not? I'm just going maybe to go grab bubble tea or something like that. Something like that. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna come back, or I'm just taking a walk, or I'm going to the mail room. It's like the bare minimum, and I sit down and I just look in front of the camera. And yeah, I agree with Nia. Right now, I'm staring at myself because also it helps me pay attention, because when I'm not looking at myself, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I tend to forget, like, and especially when it's recorded. Even when I look at myself, unless it's like lectures, like, and I have to see like the lecture thing. So I think like that plays a role. Like, do your edges, like do something, like just do something. Spray different type of perfume, wear a different color, do your eyes. Like one of my sweet mates, she does eye makeup a lot. Like she focuses on the eye makeup, and I'm always like, wow, that looks nice. And she's like, yeah. So you could do your eye makeup. So every time somebody sees you, I don't know how to do like eyeliner and stuff. So that's pretty sad. But
Ask her to teach you how to do eyeliner. But I think what you're saying is you're not depressed at all, because
Mm.
it takes such a level of what of inner strength to not let go of your physicality, and to get up, get dressed, you feel like a human being, and it's really hard when you don't have to get up and get dressed, to just hang out and stay in bed and throw your screen on and say, who gives? But what you're doing is saying that I'm taking pride in myself. I actually care what I look like, how I'm perceived. So the dual identity thing and the imposturing and all that sort of stuff, a lot of that is about how you perceive yourself and how you want the world to perceive you. So Shabami, I think that was a great answer. And that makes me happy. And I haven't been able to put eye makeup on, and it really annoys me because that's all you see anymore. But I had a cataract, so my eyes get really itchy. And now, of all times, my little ego really wants to have eyeliner on, but I don't do it. So anyhow, I have a question, and that is, what have you all observed from your peers in this last 6 months?
I'll answer that.
Oh, hi.
Hi. So I think since being on campus, at least, I noticed my peers want to hang out more. Like my friends ask me all the time, like to go eat more often, or to go walk with them to Starbucks, or to go like do random little errands with them. Like even the smallest little things, they'll just ask if I want to go with them. I think it's because we honestly don't see too many people because we don't really have a reason to leave our rooms. So those little 5 minutes with your friends like mean a lot to us, especially when we've been in quarantine for like 6 months and haven't really seen our friends in a while. So I find it really interesting how I feel like we're spending a little more time together in short spans throughout the day. So that's something I've observed with my friends.
Yeah, something about that human interaction. It's just like you don't know what it really means until you haven't seen somebody for a long period of time. I mean, just going down to South Carolina to see my mom, who I talk on the phone with her on a regular basis, but to see her face to face is something that was like you can't put a price on it, which is actually a nice segue into our next topic as we keep it moving. Uh, and for those of you all that have shared already, thank you all for just sharing your feedback. And I guess, Dee Dee, we can kind of like, is it cool that we kind of just keep flowing?
That's what I was going to say that earlier. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'll just edit through at some point.
Right.
This is too good.
Yeah, because I can say everything I want to. Just don't put it on.
Not to be a complete goofball, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. What I want to say is, despite all of our sadnesses about the last 6 months, every student in this class I feel like I have a relationship with, and that really makes my heart happy.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I have to tell you, like when I was going through whatever I was going through in the last couple of weeks, to know that this was still going on, to see you all talking to each other was like this is magic, right here in a way that I can't really describe. So you all are doing some really powerful things.
So Jarvis, the second part of my question was, how have faculty and administrators pivoted during this time? And I would like to answer that question and then throw it to the students. And my answer to that question is, as an employee who's been at Stony Brook over 20 years, I have never felt so close to my peers, my students, and of course I say everybody's mine, but because I feel like we're in this kind of rabbit hole all together, and I feel like everybody has upped their empathy bones to help to take care of each other and support each other in a way that it has changed the business cycle, I would say. It feels different. Everybody here who's on campus is like, what can I do for you? How are you? And just talking about going to get that cup of coffee, having that 5 minutes, together, seeing each other like, wow, hey, how are you doing? Whatever. I feel like we're closer as a team than we've ever been before. Anyway, how about you guys?
Hi, everyone. There's a John Lennon song, "You Don't Know What You Got Till You Lose It," and I think that really applies to this whole scenario that we're in, because at least for me, I never realized how valuable in-person interaction was until it went away. So I do believe that good can come out of bad, and while this whole thing is not good, the pandemic, Zoom fatigue, all of that, it's not good, but we can learn from it, and we can raise our empathy levels. We can connect with people more on a friend-to-friend basis, on that in-person basis. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Deanie. It's definitely increasing just the human interaction of wanting to be in person.
Melanie, I totally agree. I feel like when you make the effort to, like Kiara was saying, like your friend is asking you, let's walk to Starbucks. I feel like that is more meaningful. Well, to me at least, that it's like they went out of their way to ask me to spend time with them, whereas we just kind of always spend time together, if that makes sense. So it's like, this is actually a friendship. This is actually a relationship that somebody else values just as much as I do, which is nice. And I think it also shows, or it helps people, like, for example, my best friend from home, she was always the person that didn't want to order food. So I always made her food order for her whenever we went up to the counter. And I think that it's a good way to step out of your shell and say, hey, let's go walk to Starbucks, when you normally wouldn't ask somebody to go walk to Starbucks.
I feel like that's a really important point that you made, Nia, where with how distanced everyone is now, you now have to take the extra initiative to connect and see people. Even if you're still just connecting virtually, getting onto Zoom, logging in, putting in the meeting ID, that takes time, especially with getting on to office hours for courses and classes, trying to get the extra question answered and see how to figure out. Like logging on to Zoom for the class period and then logging in again to talk to a professor or a TA, that takes more time as well.
Yeah, like before we kind of go a little deeper, does anybody else want to share? Because you all are saying some things that I believe a lot of people are saying to each other, but not really saying in public. And once again, we're trying to just kind of get more of this lived experience out. And actually, like I said, on the next section, we actually talk about making connections within that frame. We talked a little bit about the challenges. Do you see any additional challenges with like trying to connect with like peers, faculty? I know some of you all have even said things like, I don't feel like a student right now. I don't feel like what this experience is supposed to be like with college. I'm not seeing that right now. So as it pertains to like how you're making your connections with the key folk in your life, what has that been like for you all? And yeah, just kind of share some of those challenges that you're facing, kind of a continuation of what we've been talking about.
Yeah,